What's going on, YouTube? What's going on, family? And today we're going to be talking about the trust, the actual triangular trust funds. These are the trust funds you need in order to actually stay as protected as possible. And if you stay to the end, I'll actually add a bonus one in here for you because I truly believe that this bonus one is going to take you and your family to the next level. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So number one, we're going to be talking about private trusts. All right. So to kind of give you a scope, we're going to do three different things: private, ministry, and family. Another word for saying private is a business trust. A business or a private trust pretty much is like an individual trust that protects your assets and protects you. That's like an individual LLC. Think of it that way. And so this one is there to protect you, whatever assets that you have, basic scope of things. Then you have the ministry trust. The ministry trust helps you defer taxes. This is called a faith-based organization. The job is, one, you can make it a charitable, or if you're religious, you can make it a religious thing. But the job of this actual trust is to allow you to defer taxes, or as much taxes as possible. If you heard of Donald Trump, this is probably one of the ways on how he's actually deferring a lot of taxes, or in his case, he's paying zero taxes on a lot of things. Now you got to understand when it comes to taxes, and I'm not a CPA, so definitely, go get a CPA advisor and all this other stuff. But from my recollection, from what our CPA talks about, is that you always want to pay taxes, but just don't leave a tip. Don't leave a tip at all. Okay, so that's a key thing when it comes to the ministry trust. Then the last trust is the family trust. This is big on family generational wealth. That's pretty much what it does. It encompasses the entire family when it comes to the trust. It's not just like the private where it's like the individual, right? The family is the everyone, right? So let's go ahead and talk about the three appointing assets that you need, or the three assets that you need in a trust overall, because it's super important that you understand this. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So when it comes to forming a trust, right? Forming a trust, there are three things or three assets that you must have in place in order for this trust to be successful. Okay, first thing is you need the grantor. Second thing is you need the trustee, and then after that you have the beneficiary. And I'm spelling this wrong. I'm just gonna put beneficiary for the moment, right? But I'm missing a C and an I in there somewhere. So pretty much this is what actually we're gonna write this. Y'all not finna get on me today. Ain't no way. I can't do it. Ain't no way. So we're gonna call this beneficiary. All right. So this is the beneficiary. So the grantor, also known as an executor, or also known as the creator, right? As it sounds, this is the person who is the person that created the trust. Okay. Then you have the trustee. The trustee is the person that manages and distributes all of the assets from the grantor's belongings to the beneficiary, which the beneficiary is the person who receives assets. Okay. This is what if you want to break it down in small terms, in simple terms, and I'll move me up here so you all can see it. This is pretty much how the process of a grantor, trustee, beneficiary, this is how the trust actually operates. Okay. Now, a lot of people, this is where they have a lot of issues with. They're like, okay, I know I'm going to be the creator, right? The creator is already checked off. I know that my children are going to be the beneficiary, but who's going to manage and distribute my assets when I'm gone? This is the biggest question that a lot of people go through. Super important question. This is what you want to do. Everyone has heard of this. You've heard of an LLC. If you're not aware, this is an entity. What you can do is you can make the LLC, right? Let's make this as simple as possible. Let's move this over. You can, and I'm gonna write this better for you all. LLC entity. You can make that the grantor, and then you can make yourself the trustee. Now, why did I say this? Right? What happens is if you are developing, there's two types of trust. One, you have a revocable trust, and there's obviously hundreds of trusts, but I'm just gonna go with these two. You have a revocable trust and you have a irrevocable trust. A revocable trust means that you can make changes after you've created it, right? And the irrevocable trust means that you cannot make changes, right? You cannot make changes, but the beneficiary can, right? And this is only the grantor can make changes, and the trustee. So these are the two ways that you can get a trust. I suggest, of course, you get the irrevocable trust, because the irrevocable trust, let's think about this long term, right? Do you want people to get access to your assets while you are alive? Absolutely not. That's just me personally. This is not a advising opinion. This is just what I would suggest. I personally, I'm in process right now of getting an irrevocable trust through our trust specialist that we have on our team, and she tells me that the best option is the irrevocable trust because of multiple different things. One, you stay as protected as possible. When it's revocable, if anything happens, people can get access to it. Irrevocable, another pro is that you can make yourself the trustee, like I mentioned here, and make your entity the grantor, and you can still make changes as if you are a revocable trust. There's a lot of gray areas when it comes to, or a lot of ways that you can still move an irrevocable trust like a revocable trust, right? So for me, it just makes more sense to be as private as possible when it comes to an irrevocable trust. Now, knowing this information, right, like I said, the grantor cannot get access or shift or change anything when you create an irrevocable trust, which is why I say make your LLC the grantor and make yourself the trustee, because when that happens, you can make changes and make decisions on how the beneficiaries are going to be receiving their assets. So if you have your LLC up here and you have yourself down here, right? And then of course this is your children, then you're able to move how you want to move, right? Now this is the key thing. How can I build generational wealth? I'm going to put gen wealth with somebody else being the trustee when I pass away. This is really where this comes into play, y'all. This is so important, okay? How does this work? Well, there's multiple ways you can do this, and I'm just going to name out one way, but this is the way that I would suggest. There are ways that you can do this. You can do a success trustee, or you can do a co-trustee. And so pretty much if anything happens to you as the trustee, if you get incapacitated or if you expire, then your success and your co-trustees come into the picture. Okay, they come into the picture and they start managing your assets. Now, this is another key thing. You can set the rules where when you are alive, these people get paid $0, but when you pass away, you can give them a salary from the trust. The trust will pay them while you pass away. You can set that in the actual trust. Okay, so when the trust, if you expire, you pay them through the trust, and then they'll be able to manage all of your assets. I think that's a great deal, because think of it this way. If you pay them through the trust, you have a designated person always managing the trust, always. And here's another thing. When it comes to a trustee, and think of this as a timeline, y'all, right? Let's say this is the first year, the second year, the third year, and the fourth year. Every year, your trustee has a conversation with the beneficiary. Every year, your trustee has a conversation with the beneficiary. And what are they going to do? They're going to talk, right? They're going to talk and exchange information. So the beneficiary is going to say, hey, I would like to get, let's say, $20,000 this year. And then your trustee has to make a decision. Well, does this align with the values and the goals with the grantor, with the trust? Right? And if they don't, then they say, well, I can't give you 30, but I can give you 10. And the beneficiary has to make a decision. Is that worth what they have going on? Or do they have to follow more rules and procedures, which we'll talk about in later videos, on getting more access to the trust, right? Because because at the end of the day, if the beneficiary borrows from the trust, they have to pay that back to the trust. And if they don't, then it comes out of the term. And then of course they can create more life insurance policies, but then again, you want to make sure that you're being smart with the money. You're not just out here taking the money and just never paying it back, because that's not good financial literacy, right? So every year, y'all, every year, the trustee and the beneficiary has a yearly meeting, okay, discussing how much money comes in. Now, of course, in between time, let's say you have somebody that's 23 years old or 27 years old, let's say 27, the trust could pay them $3,000 per month for these 3 years. This is just what is designated from the trust. The trust just states, hey, I'm going to pay my child $3,000 a month just so we can take care of their expenses. And then we're going to make this person have guidelines. This beneficiary has guidelines. This person must be 18 years of older, of course, to get access to borrow from the trust. or they can be 21, whichever one works. This person must purchase a mentorship, get a mentor, right? This person must have a GPA of 3.8 or higher, must be a high school grad, right? Must go through finance courses, financial literacy courses. Like, these are guidelines you can put in place. And let's say by the time year 1 happens, they only hit this. They're only 18 to 21. Their GPA is a 3.8 and they're a high school grad, but they didn't get a mentor, nor do they have financial courses or purchase financial courses. This means that they probably do not have financial literacy, which means that I wouldn't give them 30,000 out the gate. I would only give them, I may not even give them anything, or may give them 10 for the moment. And then let's see how they run with the 10. But like, this is the key thing, y'all, when it comes to a triangular trust fund, like how you can use these trusts to benefit you, right? This is so important. So here's the structure that you kind of want to have, right? This is you. How you want to do this is, you want, as the parent or as a person who wants to create wealth, you want to have a private trust, a family trust, and a ministry trust. Okay. And then you want your life insurance policy, an overfunded life insurance policy, to fund each one of these trusts. Your life insurance beneficiary is the trust. Okay. And so that's going to fund your trust. And you want to make sure that, because there's 2 types of life insurance policies, you want to have a term and you want to have a whole life. Right now, of course, there are some trusts that I've heard from my trust specialist that IULs work a little better with. And this is just, look, you can have more than one life insurance policy. That's all I got to say. But there are some that I've heard from my trust specialist that, you know, some work better than others. But I just like whole life because it depends on the company's dividends than the market's dividends. Right. So that's really where it comes to, y'all. I know this was a lot of information and I was sporadically putting this together because I really wanted to get this out to you all. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. I hope you all got some value. This is something that I want you all to take seriously. I'm about to hit the gym. Okay, this is what I'm about to do. So I got to close it out for you all. I hope this triangular trust fund, I want to say video, really made sense to you all. I want to make sure that I bring out more content like this. I want my content to be a mixture of entrepreneurship and family business. So I hope this makes sense. And so I want you all to like, comment, subscribe. If you want to actually get the questions, let's say, for example, you have a trustee, but you don't know who to get your trustee to be, and you want to be the grantor, I have some trustee interview questions that you can actually do for your code trustee or your success trustee. So you can have the right trustee in your corner and the right people in your corner so that your family can be successful. So click the link in the description. That will be in the description for you all. A nice little checklist, interview checklist. And if that doesn't get you all enticed, you can definitely join our free workshop below, and it'll teach you how to run and create a family business. So I hope this makes sense. I hope you all got some value, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.